So the OECD, founded in 1961, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, groups 36 members countries, and its mission is to promote policies that improve the economic and social well-being of people around the world. So the OECD offers an forum where results uh, can be worked to share experience and find solutions to common problems. We work to understand what is that leads to economic, social, and environmental change. We measure productivity and global flows of trade and investment. We analyze and compare data to produce trends results. We set international standards weighting a wide range of public policies issues. So that is the OECD. Maybe the OECD Center in Mexico for Latin America. The OECD Center in Mexico for Latin America is an example of the strategic importance that Latin America has for the organization. Its main purpose is to increase the visibility of the OECD in the region, and for almost 2 decades has been dedicated to promoting the work and activities of the OECD by establishing right contact with policymakers, experts, business leaders, and universities and re- representatives of civil society. The OECD timeline started in 2014. The member countries of the OECD agree on May 25 to invite Colombia to become a member of the organization. The ex-president of Colombia, Juan Manuel Santos, and the Secretary General of the OECD, Angel Gurria, uh, will sign the agreement on May 30 during the next meeting of the OECD Council and ministerial level in Paris. In 2017, the economic studies of the OECD start in Colombia. Then evaluation of the impact of the digital government in Colombia towards a new methodology. Uh, Digital government review in Colombia towards a public sector uh, driven by the citizen. Uh, in in May to 2018. So uh, the last one is the OECD reviews of the school recurses in Colombia.
Our teammate Sebastian has talked about his first two items of the framework. Now I will take out the three of the committees and the recommendation or observations to Colombia. Colombia has the approval of the 22 of the 23 committees of the OECD. Some of them are Agriculture Committee. The principal suggestion and importance of agriculture in Colombia is to have a decrease of the gap of poverty and rural people suffer. life-free possibilities of opportunities and quality of life. The second one is the laboral committee, and when OECD recognizes the significant effort that Colombia has made since the beginning of the accession progress to address the challenges in the labor market and the reform agenda for social policy. And then work, employment, and social affairs is the last committee when recommendations made by the organization in various matters, such as compliance with labor standards, informality, and subcontracting, collective bargaining, and violence against trade unions. Um, Now I will talk about the disadvantage for Colombia to be in the OECD because when we were doing the work, uh, for me there was more disadvantage than benefits. So I will talk about them. The recommendations, for example, of the organization prioritize decisions from a general framework and the present context of the country and the priorities that it may have are not strictly evaluated. In addition, they need to comply with DC's recommendation and have international approval can lead to disparate decision making and falsification of data and results. And the major investment that entering into this organization implies making a decision with multiple consequences because the country focuses more on being a member for diplomatic reasons instead of focusing on the investment that should be making in social issues. Plus, in some cases, the financing required for us to comply with all the requirements and recommendations are way above the public budgets, and this generates a budget deficit. And now I will leave you with my TV.
Okay, so my teammates have already given you a brief introduction about the OECD. I am now going to talk about the reforms. One of the main purposes of the OECD is the promotion of economic development and global trade. All countries that are part of it or that want to be part of the organization must comply with several political and economic requirements. Being part of the OECD, it's a difficult task, is a big challenge. It requires a lot of hard work from the governments, but for this specific matter, they have to work on several reforms. And in this particular case about Colombia, we're going to talk about the tax reform and the pension reform that had to be done in order to be able to be part of the organization. So the tax reform is about strengthening the tax administration and increasing the penalties, which will cause a reduce on the tax evasion. This would be in order to boost investment and diversify the economy so that Colombia can be on the path towards sustainable growth. It also reduces the work informality and improves the well-being of all Colombians. On the other side, the pension reform is about how Colombia must reform the pension system to reduce inequality and poverty on the third age population. Around 2/3 of this part of the population do not have any type of pension, so this reform ensures that the third age population has a decent pension while maintaining a solid public finances. Colombia would also have to equalize or had to equalize the retirement age between men and women, and in the medium term increase age of retirement and linking it to the evolution of life expectancy. And to go to the last point of this little assignment is to talk about the benefits and the disadvantages of the of this membership for Colombia. So as far as the benefits, we found many, and the first one would be that for a country to be a part of the OECD, it must have some sort of quality seal that will eventually attract more and more foreign investment. This also ensures the possibility of adopting better practices because of all the counseling the organization provides to all the members. Colombia, for instance, would have access to the highest quality studies and that are provided by the organization. So Colombia will definitely be it'll be beneficial for the country. Being part of the organization will also allow the constant learning, improvement, and assessment that will require the government to consider making a lot of internal reforms, such as the ones we talked about on the previous point. And these reforms will end up being an advantage for all the Colombian citizens. Colombia would also have a voice and a vote in global discussions. It will also influence and contribute in the implementation of global policies for improving the way international economy works. Being a member of the organization talks well about a country, its policies, and its government. So this would be truly beneficial for Colombia, as it'll make foreign investors to be willing to invest in our country. And the last, one of the last benefits that we added was that being a member of the OECD means Colombia would have to meet the highest standards constantly. So this means that there must be a lot of willingness from the government to look for ways of improvement on all types of aspects like technology, education, health, employment, etc.